Mahalo everyone, and welcome to another deck video here on the Jolly Scarecrows channel. You're with me, Joe, and today I'm going to be presenting a Vehicroid or Roid deck for the Master Duel game. So we play a slightly different version of this in the trading card game, and that will be coming onto the channel for you very soon. But we thought whilst Master Duel has been newly released and people are going to be after kind of builds of how to play Roids, we thought we'd upload this video first. The basic kind of strategy, the best strategy with the Roids currently, is to be summoning out mobile base as soon as you can. It basically allows you to pick a monster your opponent controls and special summon any Roid from your deck or even extra deck with attack that's less than it, and it has obviously this whopping 5,000 defense and can be summoned using the spell Vehicroid Connection Zone, which prevents it from being destroyed by card effects and means its effects can't be negated. So, and actually, all this takes is 2 materials, albeit one of them is another Roid fusion. So you need to be bringing out a Roid fusion as soon as you can, and there's a bunch of different ways of doing that. In the trading card game, there's more options, but in this we have access only to kind of instant fusion, and that will let you bring out Vehicroid. But Vehicroid's actual fusion requirements are 2 machine monsters with the same name. And so this really opens the door for use of machine duplication, which lets you take any machine monster with 500 less attack and summon 2 more from your deck. So you can go straight from 1 into 3, and you can use some of those up immediately. So what targets are we running for this? We're actually running 3. We're running 3 copies of Mixeroid, the best Roid card, and we'll get into why in a bit. We're running Card Trooper, and we're running Express Roid. Now, Card Trooper and Express Roid are both targets for our 3 copies of Urgent Schedule. This is a card well known to players of trains. In this deck, it allows you to search for Armoroid, which is a beta. It's also your main point of spell and trap removal. But that only works when you're tribute summoning it. But that can happen. That can happen, as we might see on some duels coming in the channel in the near future. Both Express Roid and Card Trooper are quite neat. Express Roid lets you recycle Roids that are in your grave and add them to your hand. So this can often be used. Say you've got, say you've got a copy of Armoroid that's in the grave and 1 in your hand. Play Express Roid. Now you've got 2 copies for you then to power bond into that Vehicroid, so you can then Vehicroid Connection Zone into the mobile base and start from there. It should be mentioned here that mobile base lets you also fetch another copy of mobile base. You can only use one of the summons per turn, but 2 5,000 defense monsters is pretty impressive, especially when you combine it with the field spell, Megaroid City. This kind of hangs everything together. I wish there was a bit more ability to search for a card like this. A Roid search would be really handy. That wasn't this itself. So basically, you can target any card you control and destroy it, and then you can add a Roid card from your deck to your hand. This is your main way of searching for Vehicroid Connection Zone if you don't have it. But your other options are things like Mixeroid or Dragonroid. And Dragonroid is another card that lets you discard it to add a non-wind Roid to your hand, which we're running 2. Or you can basically stop your opponent from negating your fusion summons if you're going for a big play that turn. We're running 2 copies each of Silver and Gold Gadget. These are here to obviously help you special summon out your things like Express Roid or Mixeroid, and they're somewhat useful, especially with their destruction effects, which you can obviously target with Megaroid City, and that will let you special summon a gadget from the deck. So I don't know, you can Megaroid City, summon Gold Gadget, destroy it, get a Roid card, and keep your 4-star armor field. If you want to go into a rank 4 XEs, YuGiOhDecks is probably the most common. This lets you search for basically any of your machine monsters if you'd like, or Bagusko if you're going slightly more defensive. I haven't gone into Vehicroid's wonderful effects yet, so you can tribute any machine monster on the field to special summon a non-win Roid from your deck. So you can either go into Armoroid if you want damage, or go into Card Trooper or Express Roid if you're holding a machine duplication. You'd probably go into Card Trooper unless you had stuff in the grave, because of its effect to let you mill cards, and its destruction effect, which lets you draw one. Brilliant card. And that ties in really nicely with the second effect of Vehicroid. Pay half your life points when it's in the grave, and then you get to special summon any Roid fusion with ignoring the summoning requirements based upon the number of monsters that you banish alongside the Vehicroid. So where this, I mean, there's two ways this is useful. One, if your graveyard is loaded, you can just bring stuff out like mobile base. But what you'll most often be doing is banishing this and 4 other machines, which is fairly easy to do in this deck because of all that we're running, things like the machine duplication and Dragon Roid, which disguises itself to search for a Roid. There's a lot of machines going into the graveyard. Banish 4, summon Vehicroid, and then Vehicroid Connection Zone with any other Roid and Vehicroid to get the mobile base. And then you've got your ultimate defense, which can summon any of the Roids you want from your extra deck, depending on how much attack they have, or summon out other things like you can bring out Vehicroid. Vehicroid has 0 attack, but can bring out the Armoroid, which has 2700. I haven't mentioned yet Fusion deployment, what a card this is. So essentially, you can use this, target Stealth Union, and that will allow you to bring Express Roid straight out from your deck, which can then obviously be used for machine duplication, power bond, blah 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 blah. Good card. The other Roids were kind of running in here in case your opponent has some monster. We've come across Time Lords against this. They've had a 4000 beta on the field, so we've brought out Mobile Base, and then done a bunch of stuff. You can use Barbroid and actually negate their effect, prevent them from attacking, and then use Stealth Union to steal it. That was an interesting duel. Necroid Shaman is a really odd inclusion, but it counts as a Roid. You can play it with either Vehicroid or with the mobile base, and it lets you destroy one of your opponent's monsters. And then lets them special summon another. But yeah, I think by that point you should be comfortably in control if you're going for Necroid Fusion. Cherubim the Fire Knight is in here in case there's a situation arises where you can instant fusion it, and then you can power bond into Ignition Beast Volcanon, so it would be 4006 attack, target your opponent's monster, and then blow up your opponent's life points equal to the attack. Potentially, their back comes up. The Lynx Platinum Gadget is probably the one you'll go into the most. It lets you special summon a level 4 from your hand, and then if it's destroyed, you can special summon a gadget from the deck. So it's kind of a continuation on the gadget theme. Clipboard Genius, it's pretty nice in terms of the fact that you can add a machine from your deck to your hand if you special summon 2 monsters at once. You could also run Mecha Phantom Beast in this. We have chosen to run that in the Speed Roid version, and we've kept this as best we can a pure Roid version for people that want to play, I don't know, Cyrus's deck at its most optimum form. If you want to play Speed Roid, that deck should be on the channel for you in the next day or so. And yeah, I think I've just about covered everything in the deck. Let me know if you've got any questions, and we will see you for the next video here on Jolly Scarecrow's channel.